It's a sweep, back-to-back sweep to the Phillies as they are off to their best start through 2022 games since 2018. And they have not had a better start since 2011 when they were 15-7 and went on that win over 100 games in that season. Just saying. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. Happy Monday. We've got Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. We're talking about the sweep from this past weekend over the White Sox. Doesn't matter who you're beating, to win 3 games in a row and be able to produce and score more than 5 runs are literal victories for this team for how they start the season. Jamie?
Yeah, they're on fire right now. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Phillies because they are playing good baseball, and what the pitching staff is doing will translate to a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, the Rockies and White Sox are really bad.
So bad.
Now, Phillies in the past haven't always capitalized on beating bad teams. So that's why I don't want to take away from them by pointing out how bad these two teams are. But, I mean, the pickle yesterday that Harper ran himself into, which leads to no outs and a run. The guy in right field, tripping on the warning track, throwing around. It was like Bad News Bears comically bad. Those two teams are awful. And I saw the White Sox now through 21 games are like the 3rd worst start ever.
Yeah. No.
So, the Phillies beat up bad teams, which they don't always do. So that's a good thing. But, wow, those are some bad baseball teams.
Yeah.
Our poor counterparts, Susie, Herb, and the rest of the White Sox gang. I thought about you guys a lot over this past week because that's rough.
I did too. I have some numbers on the White Sox that are really bad. But when you think about how much we've complained on this show and how much we've talked with everybody in the chat.
Oh, life's good. Life's good. No complaints
the
here.
Issues, the debates of like Taijuan Walker or 6-man rotation or bullpen arms, whatever it may be. Lack of production at times offensively. There's way worse problems when you look at the Rockies and the White Sox, which at times looked like a minor league team. And it was comically bad. Like I was almost like, oh, this is rough to even watch. So shout out to our friends at, over at CHGO and DNVR and Susie and Herb. Definitely free them both because I don't know how they're handling this. In the chat though, we've got first up, as always, defending that #1 title, Chris Slemmer. What's up, Chris? Kim, Mickey, Joseph. We've got Dave P, Matt, Provolone John, Chris Zazowski.
Michael Wazowski from Monsters, Inc.
Boz. What's up, guys? It could be worse issues with the Phillies. Also could be worse issues when you look at the Sixers. I know in the chat you guys just brought up, as Jamie, you were mentioning before the show even started, Tyrese Maxey questionable for today for the Sixers. We know Joel Embiid's been questionable for the Sixers. Listen, the Phillies are one of the Philly sports teams you can rely on right now. That's a positive. Now, before we actually get into our show, we're going to introduce something a little bit new today. We've got some fun to be had. Now, we're going to introduce what's called it's going to be our PHLY Phillies wheel.
This is all from the mad mind of Renee Washington. I have no idea what's about to happen.
So, in this box, we've got games. And every time we do the wheel, it's going to pick for us which game we're going to play today on the show. It varies. Sometimes it's a quick game. Sometimes it's a game that's going to be throughout the entire show. Like you can't say a certain word or do a certain thing. And then sometimes the wheel's going to just pick no game, just a regular show. So I left that as an option because some of you guys don't like games and you don't like fun. So you might do nothing. All right. So
you absolutely know that first time we ever do this, it's going to get the nothing.
That's fine. That's fine. So Tyler's got the wheel. If it lands on the logo or nothing, if it lands on the logo, we'll spin again. If it lands on nothing, we'll do nothing. What do we got?
Wow.
There's our wheel.
All right, there's your wheel.
Which one's the nothing?
It actually says nothing
logo
on it.
Yeah. The logo?
No, there's one that says nothing.
What's the logo?
No, I think it's the logo.
The logo means spin again.
Okay. All right, you guys ready for this?
All right, let it rip.
This insane graphic ability by me.
Look at this new technology, folks.
Ooh.
It makes sounds and everything.
Wow.
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous.
It hit nothing.
Normal show.
Oh, man. We'll have to,
Tyler, good call.
we'll have to wait for our fun. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, I want to spin again.
Well, you
I should have
can't.
put nothing on there now.
You'd be jeopardizing the integrity of the game by spinning again.
But it's the first time. I worked so hard on this game.
You put nothing on the wheel.
Dang it. Man.
That was within your realm of power.
Totally regretting that now.
You made
and I put
the wheel.
Logo. Oh, man. Well, okay, there you have it. We're going to just have a normal show today. The options there are great. We've got trivia. We've got off the rails.
Options?
I've got games that I made up for us. We've got some Phillies inspired games. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. And maybe next time I'll remove nothing. So, all right, let's get into the nuts and bolts in our normal show today of what happened this past weekend in the sweep. With that, the Phillies are now 14-8, and this is their 5th best start in the last 30 years, 3 decades. Some of us were barely born since the Phillies have had this best start.
Yeah, some of us. I was probably firing in bets with my bookie at the cafeteria table in like 6th grade there.
Oh, good Lord. And then also the Phillies have won at least 12 of their first 20 games. I can't read apparently.
I'll bet you this
12 of their first
roll-up for that, candy cake that the Sixers cover the 4.5 tonight. You guys want to do that in 6th grade?
I used to bet snacks. We all did.
Well, you know what the original bet was, or at least for me, was Pogs. That's what, like when gambling. Do you guys remember Pogs?
We had Crazy Bones.
What was it called?
Crazy Bones?
I don't think I was a part of Crazy Bones. Pogs were like little cardboard discs that were like this big, and you used to have Pogs tubes that you collect, and then you had Slammers.
Oh, wow.
And then that was basically the first introduction to gambling, more or less, in grade school, was you would play people for their Pogs. And if you won and flipped so many over, you got to take their Pogs.
Yeah, actually, it got banned because a lot of school districts were saying that was a form of gambling.
Yeah,
it
totally
does look
was
like
gambling.
chips. It definitely does.
Chips.
Oh wow!
What was Crazy Bones?
It actually got banned. So
yeah, Crazy Bones were these little figurines, and they were like wild, like they were like little monsters and stuff. But like they were basically like certified weapons because they were made out of like hard materials. So like I don't know, some of them were like, more metallic or whatever, but you would line them up and you would slide them across the table and you would try to knock the other person's Crazy Bones off the table. And if you knocked a Crazy Bone off the table, they would like join your army basically.
What if you missed? Did that person get to keep yours?
No. These toys.
Okay.
No. But the problem with them, they were hefty and weighted and thick, and you would slide them and it would be like they would smash into your knuckles.
Yeah.
It would hurt.
Well, you're getting some Crazy Bone love in the chat here.
Yeah, they racked up $3.5 million of sales in '98 before they were discontinued in '99.
See, I was a Pogs guy. I didn't do. I
had Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
My daughter's into Pokemon
Barbies,
now.
So
did you hold on to your Pokemon cards? They might be worth something.
No, I didn't. I only had like 9, and I wasn't good at trading them, so I struggled. I struggled like the White Sox. Now the White Sox have been shut out 7 times this season. Oof. They are the first team through 19 games to start the season ever getting shut out 7 times in Major League Baseball history. And impressive. Of course, what makes it worse for them is their pitchers have been struggling, not going past about 4 innings or so. Not the case with the Phillies. Listen, we're going to talk about the pitching staff. We'll talk about the production, the at-bats, Nick Castellanos, and of course, going through the lineup. But most importantly, I just want to give you these numbers that are incredible because perspective. One of our goals coming into the season was for the Phillies to have a hot start. Granted, it didn't feel like it because I think sometimes we get caught up. It doesn't look the way we thought it would look. Like it hasn't been a flashy, fun start, but it has been a really good start. Now, in the last 3 games, the Phillies have scored a total of 24 runs. They had 7, 9, and 8.
You're going to win a lot of baseball games when you do that.
They scored 29 total in the previous 10 games dating back to the first game of the St. Louis series. So they were struggling offensively, scored a total of 29, and they nearly eclipsed that in 3 games. So 10 games to 3.
Hitting season?
And this is what I'm leading up to.
Or shitty schedule season.
They've had double-digit hit games in 3 out of 4 games when they had 1 total double-digit hit game in the first 8. And then in the last game, 8 of 9 guys got at least one hit, except for Nick Castellanos on Sunday. But he did have a good day on Saturday where his at-bats looked better. So it's been an improvement. Granted, it's been the White Sox and the Rockies, but in this 10-game homestand to be 8-2, going back to the Pirates series, it's great to at least get the confidence going. It's great to get the momentum going and to get guys, as we know with baseball being so mental, seeing the ball off their bat and landing in play and allowing them to get on base and allowing them to score runs.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at a guy like Johan Rojas, I think at least I do, because I was on him pretty hard the first 2 or 3 weeks when he looked lost. He looks completely transformed. And an 8-2 homestand, I mean, my God, you take that every single time it's presented to you. That's incredible, regardless of who the opponents are. But like Johan Rojas, let me pull up his numbers pretty much over this homestand. More or less. I think it was 10 days this goes back, which is, the homestand, 8-2.
Yeah.
Johan Rojas, since returning home, is hitting .429, .452, and .483 over his last 10 games. So coming back home, agreed with Rojas. Maybe he shut off the switch to stop thinking. Trea Turner is another guy that's on absolute fire right now. Alec Boehm has been stepping up. I mean, tremendous games from him. The only guys that really aren't quite going yet are Nick Castellanos, which
we'll talk. I mean, he's improving though. He's improving. He at least had Saturday.
I know. His slugging is now .203 and his batting average is .177. Yeah. So they're not the same anymore. So that's something. But coming home's been good to the Phillies, and we have to address the elephant in the room here. They're off to Great American Ballpark.
Oh, boy, they are.
So we'll see if they can carry this on the road with them. But, tremendous all-around homestand. It's really hard not to feel pretty bullish on the Phillies' direction this year.
It's hard to win games in any professional league. I don't care who you're playing, because even with the worst teams, look, Kansas City just lost to the White Sox in the series prior to the Phillies playing them. These teams that are bottom of the barrel, you go into it sometimes almost too laid back and you don't perform well. And I know Rob was telling them on Sunday, like, keep your foot on the gas, regardless if you're up or down. Let's keep our foot on the gas. We saw them do that. But there's only been 19 times total since 1901 that the Phillies have won at least 12 of their first 20 games. This season is one of them. This is also their best 10-game homestand since 2011. I mean, regardless of who your opponent is a win. And also what makes it better is what I like about the White Sox series compared to the Rockies is their convincing wins. That 9-5, I'm not going to count the 5 because Pinto struggled. That's strictly on Ricardo Pinto. He's not going to be here much longer, unfortunately.
Beans.
But overall, to have 2 games back to back where you have pitchers going deep into the 7th inning with a no-hitter on alert until NBC put up the graphic.
So in case you guys didn't know, our friends out at NBC Sports Philadelphia put up the graphic on Zach Wheeler going into the 8th inning on Saturday. And you want to guess how much time was gone between the graphic and the no-no being lost, Tyler? Renee heard me ask Vince this earlier.
Yeah, so as most baseball players would assume, they don't like that.
No.
However, I don't care.
And
it doesn't bother me at all.
It's funny because the guys don't know.
Tom McCarthy addresses it.
They don't see the graphic go up. Yet within a matter of moments,
it's more just like
you have to tell the story.
So guess
of
how
the
long
game.
the no-no disappeared after the graphic?
Probably less than 2 minutes.
24 seconds.
That sounds about right.
And Friday was the same thing.
And Spencer Turnbull, we missed it doing the post-game Friday night. He actually said it was a blessing in disguise that he got hit when he did, because he hasn't pitched that long in forever. And I think he was even a little weary of, trying to pursue a no-hitter going into the 8th and 9th innings. But you bring up the rotation, Renee. You want to hear some absolute filthy numbers on the rotation? They have now gone 31 1/3 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run, which is their longest streak since a 37-inning streak in 1969. The last earned run the rotation allowed was a solo homer off Aaron Nola. This was prior to yesterday's game, 4-15 versus Colorado in the 5th inning. Over that, the Phillies rotation had a combined ERA of .25 ER runs over 36 2/3 innings, with 41 strikeouts to only 7 walks. And they had held the 133 batters they faced to a 3 .63 OPS. Now, Aaron Nola makes one mistake pitch yesterday. Didn't have his best stuff. Settles in. You know, my wife was like, Nola. And I was like, well, if he ends up going like 6 or 7 innings and only allows the 2 runs, it's a really good start. And that's exactly what he did. So the Phillies rotation has just been, I mean, my God, one of the, they're better than 2011, which is,
I know.
It sounds insane to say, but they've been that good through, 22 games now, 21 games, whatever it is.
No, that's exactly it. There's been already talks about comparing them to Roy, Cliff, and Cole with how they've been pitching so far. Well. And our own John Foley put out a really good tweet because the Phillies pitchers, starting pitchers, had not even allowed an extra base hit through 3 straight games. They last did that July of 1982. Like the stats and the records that they're breaking are remarkable. And our own John Foley actually had tweeted out, when you look at the Phillies starters in the last 6 games, they've pitched 44 1/3 innings. They've given up 22 hits, 3 runs, 8 walks, 48 strikeouts with a .61 ERA and a .73 WHIP. As we all know, and as we've been hearing, they are top in the NL in WHIP and ERA in a number of categories because you look at those 12 quality starts they've had coming into the weekend, the most along with the Kansas City Royals. It's been lights out for the pitching staff, starting with the starting pitchers on how they've been consistently performing and also getting past 6 innings. They're going deeper into the game. I know Rob had to even manage the bullpen yesterday, because the guys, Jeff Hoffman and Jose and Junior Marte, they're like, wait a minute, we're enjoying this, but we want to get some innings too. We want to play too. And so right now I feel like it's been a great problem to have, as we've talked about the longevity of the season, that you have starting pitchers able to get deep into the game. And I think for Nola, he had only pitched 91 pitches. He pitched 91 pitches.
There was some Discord conversation amongst the diehards yesterday of like, I think it was Josh Katz said like, this speaks more to Junior Marte needing some work than it does like preserving Aaron Nola. Like, I think it had been 9 days since the guy threw in a game. Aaron, let's shut him. This game's in check. We got this in hand.
Well,
just shut him down. Get some of these bullpen guys some work.
Junior Marte hadn't pitched since Wednesday, and prior to the game, Rob had already mentioned that he wants to get the relievers going and get them some work too. And listen, ultimately, you're in a really good situation because you're unlike the White Sox, who actually even 1 inning in have to go have a conversation with their starting pitcher and are pulling them by the 4th inning. The Phillies are right now, the starting pitchers are performing so well, you're able to keep them going 7, 8 innings. But on the reverse side of that, you do want to manage them. You do want to also keep the bullpen fresh. And so I know, like, again, that quote that Jeff had, he was like, this is great to see, but also like, we want to play. We want to get in on the action too. So it's been a good issue to have for the Phillies. They're definitely right now off to a really good start, regardless of who they're going up against. The fact that they were able to get home, reset. That's the most important thing about this homestand. It was a chance to reset, get guys going, get the bats going, and lead us quicker into hitting season. And now as you get on the road for 10 straight games, have a chance to see how that translates and if you can remain consistent. Because when it's game time, you want to be ready to go. And you want to make sure you're ready to go with the Game Time app. That's right. You can download the Game Time app today. Take advantage of their great deals. They've got some low prices. They also allow you to be able to see where your seats are located. So now when you're scrolling to the app, you have an idea of what your view is going to be. And the great thing about the Game Time app is it's not just for one specific type of sport or league. They have every sport, every concert, every comedy show, any event that's happening in your area. They give you alerts when new tickets drop nearby. I know I always get the emails or the app alerts from them, and they always give you great prices. So when you download the Game Time app and use the code PHLY, you'll be able to get $20 off of your purchase. Buy those tickets, check out your seats, show up at the door, and be able to scan those tickets to get yourself inside, get your butt in your seats, and have some fun. You don't have to worry about any hassle of pulling out paper tickets, trying to get the Wi-Fi figured out, or even trying to compare prices. Game Time app always has some great options for you, some low prices, and with that code PHLY, again, get $20 off at the Game Time app, because although we can't guarantee the game won't be stress-free, we can guarantee buying tickets for it can be with the Game Time app.
Yeah, and say you're going to said game via the Game Time app, and you want to make a little friendly wager, take a long shot parlay, then you should get in the zone with the Bet Park Sportsbook app. Money is in the moments, and there's some, lots of events coming up. There's even an NFL draft later this week. You got the NBA playoffs going on. All the home teams won game one. Can the Sixers, even it out tonight on the road? And then the Phillies are heading to Cincinnati. The Phillies are minus 124 on BetParx in Cincinnati tonight versus the Reds. If you want to take the run line, you can get a little plus 130 action there. But lots to get in the game with. And, of course, our own adorable Ranger Suarez is on the mound tonight. So maybe a strikeout total strikes your fancy. Whatever it is, BetParx has got you covered. You can win with all-day action. Win your first $10 bet and win $125 back in sports bonus bets. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet with BetParx. So download the app and play along with us. You must be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tonight is a 2 TV night. Mm-hmm. How do you handle a night like this? So I actually have a portable TV I'll bring down. It's completely gluttonous, and I'll do the big screen. And I'm going to be honest here. I believe the Phillies are going to be on the smaller screen tonight.
Oh, that's
Doesn't
fair.
mean I won't be watching them as intently.
Fair. I did that during March Madness.
Yeah, but the Sixers get the big screen tonight. The Phillies are going to have to settle for the 45-incher. But that's how I'll be doing it. How are you going to be?
I got computer, phone, and TV. I do a trifecta. So whatever
now are
the most important game is on the
alerts beating your TV feeds?
Yes.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I don't know, because why does my phone get alerts faster than the TV does?
Because there's a delay.
These single Apples and Apple and all that. Well, cable is the only one that is actually pretty good. I do have cable, so if it's a game that's on cable, thanks. Proud of myself. I'm an adult. I have cable. I went back to it. I got tired of going app to app and trying to find games. It got
tiring.
so annoying to have Apple TV, but like the certain Apple TV with the MLS League Pass, and you have to have Prime, and you have to have all the. Oh, it's too much. So on cable, it actually is up to date with my phone. But if it's like an MLS game on Apple TV, it's behind. So yeah, I do whatever game is the priorities on the TV, and then my computer is whatever's like, less. Yeah. Of the priority. So like a championship game or playoffs tend to be the priority more than like an early April regular season game. Yeah. And then my phone will be to check up on everything else that's going on in case I need to flip through.
Tyler, what are you doing a night like this?
So the Sixers can't hurt me anymore.
No, we're all dead inside.
Yeah, because I put somebody
in the Discord had me dying. They said, "Do these guys wash their hands?"
Oh,
that's bad.
They're always sick.
Always sick. But so one of our internal, our higher ups and our marketing department and everything was talking about having to create graphics for the Sixers, and they said, "Do you want to leave it up to us out here in Denver?" And they're like, "We could really make it funny." And I'm like, "Guys, no one hates the Sixers more than Sixers fans. Correct. You can't hurt us anymore." But to answer your question, it'll be Sixers. It'll be Sixers TV. Kind of flipping back and forth. I don't do the multi-screen thing. No, I need to be locked into one game.
Oh no,
or one viewing experience.
I rarely am watching just one game. So because there's just so many games on all the time. There's so many sports on. Like it's hard. You will rarely find me just watching one game. Well, actually, at the very least, I'm flipping the channels.
I have back and forth. YouTube TV allows you to do the split screen.
That is true.
I may do the split screen. But it was kind of funny. We were at a party on Saturday, and the Sixers were on the big screen, and the Phillies were on the smaller screen. And like people started gravitating towards the smaller screen when you start to get into the fourth and fifth inning with a no-hitter going, and it was funny because it was mostly people watching Sixers, and then it was like mostly people watching Phillies by the end.
That's the thing. If the game is changing, I have no problem switching you. You can get switched off the big screen. Sure. You're not locked into the big screen, Sixers or whoever else. If you're struggling,
I see the Sixers start getting outboarded, 53-35,
and you might get scrapped altogether, where you're on no screen, and I'm just checking you on the phone, which means that you really have dropped down. But the good thing is for the Phillies right now that as they are over 500, it took until June 29th of last season for the Phillies to be 6 games over 500, and it wasn't until July 8th in 2022 that they reached that mark. So already here we are. Towards the end of April that the Phillies are 6 games over 500. As you were talking about with Johan, his numbers have been phenomenal. He ended the weekend with a 264 average, 630 OPS. Had some really good at-bats. We saw a 3-hit game. We saw 2 hits and a run. We saw him in the total over 9 games, a stretch of 9 games, 11 hits, 4 stolen bases, and just 1 strikeout. He's looking better. Alec Bohm continues to be fantastic. One of the consistent parts of this group. His third base play alone has been what's fun to watch, though. In addition to, of course, I don't know, maybe having 2 3-run homers Friday night, but to continue to have RBIs, and the amount of RBIs he's had has been the offensive boost for him. But also on the defensive side, just his hands, his accuracy. He's playing so smooth, and the fluidity of like grabbing the ball, step, throw. It's not bobbling. It's not, knock on wood. It's not some of the struggles that we've seen in the past for Bohm. So he's been absolutely a tremendous bright spot.
And there was some lineup tinkering too this weekend.
There was.
Castellanos got moved up on, was that Friday? And then Bryson Stott got put down in the 8 hole yesterday, which is, I'm not worried about him because he's still giving you good at-bats, but he's one where you see him down 8th and you go, oh, okay.
But, Jamie,
it worked.
It worked because he broke out of that 0-13 slump he was in. He finally got a hit. He finally got to score a run. It worked.
Rob's moves have been working, and whether it's Brandon Marsh up in the 6 hole or Castellanos down, Marsh down, he's been tinkering some, so you can't get on him for not doing anything.
Yes, exactly. And I'm all for, as you guys know, I'm one of the biggest people that's like, make a change. If it's not working, make a change. Something as simple as moving you in the batting order might help. And we saw that pay off for Bryson. Finally got a hit after going 0, I think it was 0-13, I believe the number was. But another guy that's been making some changes, Trea Turner. We got to hear from him post-game talking about how he was dealing with that hyperextended elbow at the end of the spring. It took him some time to kind of work back with trainers and get back feeling good. And he's been just finding some gaps to spray the ball into, and also sticking to what works best in his swing, getting level, the high finish, driving the ball back. And we've been seeing Trea, who I've been trying to figure out who's the guy that I feel like is performing the best. And even when I'm trying to figure out like who to highlight, it's definitely Trea, Kyle, or like neck and neck for me.
I think it's Trea.
But I think what helps Trea is because on the defensive side too, you're seeing how well he's playing. But you know, stealing bags, the doubles, the RBIs, and as he mentioned, him and the team, they're just finding different ways to win the game. It's different guys picking their marks. It's different guys stepping up at the right time. But Trea has consistently been doing well with his hitting streak and everything we've seen from him.
He scored more runs last week than the Pittsburgh Pirates did as a team. He's absolutely on a tear. And when he gets on the base pass, it's such a threat because he's so fast. I saw a base running stat earlier today, and I think he's in the top 5 of most effective base runners right now in baseball. He's, you know, when you get that speed on base, and that's part of why getting Johan on base is so deadly to have Schwarber behind him. Speed on the base pass translates to every decade and every generation of baseball. So when Trea's getting on base like this, it's really freaking impressive what it does to this team, because it's kind of like Jimmy getting on base. Now, Jimmy, they're very similar in like they both had power and speed. But like when Jimmy would get on base, you felt like something good was going to happen. Right. Whether it was, defensive positioning on the field, somebody making an error. Like you always have to be thinking about that speed when it's on the pass. So Trea Turner is kind of like the catalyst that gets this team going a little bit. Hopefully Harper can get going a little bit more and really take advantage of it. But as you said, Bohm and JT have been great. And Trea Turner's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Trea went
what you paid for.
6 for 13 on this homestand with 2 doubles, 8 total bases, 3 RBIs. And he has been very much, as you mentioned, a guy that when he's up, you feel like something good's going to happen. I know in the chat, just to hit on some of the comments, I did see some trade talk in there. John, you're saying that you feel like Trea, when he's locked in, is one of your favorite players to watch.
He's really fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely a fan of his speed, his stroke, and you just feel like it's going very well for him at the plate and translating to the field. It is. It's definitely been helpful. Kyle's another one I know. I always bring up Kyle Schwarber because I feel like we've talked so much about him in the leadoff spot. But he did make some history. His 3 walks, home run, sac fly, and 3 runs that he scored yesterday. That was the first time a Phillies hitter has done that ever in a single game. Wow. Kyle Schwarber continues to also show us what Slim Schwarber's all about. He had his 1,000th game. He had his, he's right on pace. I know Matt Gelb's been tracking his plate appearances. His first plate appearances in 2023 are right on the mark with his first 98 and 99.
Oh, okay, that's what
so he updated it. So he said his first 99 plate appearances in 2023 We're 212, 323, 435 slash line. And in 2024, 98 plate appearances to start off the season, 217, 327, 434, right on track with where Kyle was last year, if not, and definitely better. But we've been seeing him also just continuing to lead the game off the right way, which has been fun to see.
Yeah, Kyle, it's coming, like Matt Gelb points out in his 98, 99 at bats. That just means the power is still going to come, and the power has been pretty good to start. And when I'm at the ball game and looking for a little power,
there it is.
You know where I'm going.
Where are you going, Jamie?
I'm going right to Miller Lite. I had a couple yesterday at the ballpark, and when friends and family are around, a cold, refreshing Miller Lite. Yesterday was a little cold. Could have gone for a little more sun, but it was a nice day at the ballpark. And it got a little bit better, and I had my girls, a bag of peanuts, and a cold Miller Lite in my hand. And a lot has changed over the years, but one thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite. It's the original beer drinkers light beer, and to this day, it's still the best one because it has all the taste you want and less of the stuff you don't need. And you can, go to your, whether it be a Little League game and you pour a Miller Lite in your Yeti, or you're at the Phillies game, a Miller Lite when friends and family are around, you're having laughs, you're watching ball, you're having a great time. Because Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that tastes like freaking beer. How about that? Less filling and only 96 calories. The original light beer since 1975. And times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door by going to MillerLite.com/PHLY Phils, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Please celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
I know Mickey was asking what you ate at the ballpark yesterday when you got to go with the fam. Celebrate.
We did a bad job of not bringing the leftover hoagies.
Oh.
So we didn't do that. I basically ate like a bag of peanuts, and then I had to eat the girls' melting ice cream.
Oh.
I had to fall on that sword as the dad and help with the ice cream.
So you don't waste ice cream.
And then I had popcorn. I didn't really have a meal.
Okay.
You
had ate beforehand.
I had a big breakfast. One of my favorite, the shredded potatoes, like hash brown stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I like doing that and making an omelet out of it. Ooh, so you drop the egg in it.
That
and
is
flip
good.
it.
I had that recently.
So I did one of those. So I was pretty full. So I wasn't.
Such a dad meal for lunch then. Just all the girls' leftover snacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Lovely.
I'm usually a sausage, pepper, and onion guy when I do have my druthers.
So Bridget,
okay.
My wife and I went to the game last Sunday against the Pirates, and there was a guy, across the aisle from me, but like directly next to me on the other side of the other section. And this man must have alternated peanuts and Miller Lite for 7 straight innings.
I got to tell you, it's a great combination.
And this guy would drink the beer and he'd go, "Oh, I'm hungry." And then he would eat the peanuts and go, "Oh, that was salty. Let me get another Miller Lite."
It's a great combination.
And every time the guy came down, 2 more Miller Lights. 2 more Miller Lights.
And that's why we love it here
Lights.
at PHLY. And you guys can love all the great things we've got going on at PHLY too. You can become a diehard member. We have at allphly.com articles you can check out. Our very own John Foley. I know you guys enjoyed his tweet about the pitchers in the last 6 starts. Well, he's got more great content that he's writing up in his articles each week. You also can check out, and along with all of our tremendous writers, I should say, you can also check out all of our fun that we're having in the Discord, join in on the conversation. We're chatting about everything from each individual Philly sports team, collegiately, professionally, to also things like music and food and drinks and cocktail club discussion. So you can become a member of the Discord as you're a diehard. Also, as a diehard, you get a chance to get a nice free shirt. You get discounted to all of our events that we have and some other perks as well. Plus, we always have some great things in store. I know for us here, for PHLY Phillies podcast, we have some upcoming in-person events. We'll be doing a live watch party that will be happening down at your spot, Jamie, where you guys can...
Yeah, Manny Young Brew Pub, May 10th, Friday night. Come on out.
You guys can hang with us as we watch the game. We'll have our shows down there as well and be able to interact with you guys. And as some of us here love to say, give you some high fives and hugs. And then also we've got other watch parties and tailgates that are going on. So check out all that information on our website. You can always, of course, follow us online through social media to keep up to date with what's going on so that you can join in on all the fun and on all the action. All right, as we're talking about all the fun and all the action, Nick Castellanos is trying to get in on the fun too. This past weekend, we saw everybody hitting. Bryson finally. Whit, by the way, Whit had a really... Matt Gelb also was put out a piece about Whit. Come to find out, not only was he dealing with the slump himself, but also was dealing with the fact he hadn't gotten a chance to see his baby girl. So Whit and his wife Jordan had their first child in March. Her name is Seeger, which is cute. And Whit hadn't seen her for weeks. His family lives at home in North Carolina.
Oh, man, he must have been sleeping so good.
Well, yes and no. You're such a dad. And a girl dad at that. But he'd planned to see his daughter May 9th during the off day for the Phillies before the road trip against Miami, but hadn't had a chance to see her for weeks. Can you imagine your first child? You're a dad. Your first Skylar's born.
That would suck.
And you go weeks without seeing her, and all you get is FaceTimes and pictures, and you're missing like those first day moments.
Yeah, that would suck. So, it really would suck. Enjoy the sleep while you have it, but that would suck. I wonder why. Like, not to get into their personal life, but like,
I know.
I wonder why they wouldn't come up.
Especially in a post-COVID era.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like now, I know
there's no situation I could see where, unless the baby needed something where they were.
Maybe their family, maybe all their families down there. And
probably.
They feel like they have more support.
I think he's a North Carolina
and
guy.
with him being up here and playing, like
I would
maybe
be like, no.
Yeah,
Come
like
up here and I'll buy you a nanny.
Aunts and uncle,
I'll fly I'll fly mom and dad up. Like, everybody get up here.
Yeah, I think that I would like to think the Merrifields have a way to maybe
they have the resources
to provide the support for her to come up, that Jordan Seeger and family could come up so that even while Whit's playing, they can be there to help. So it was good to see Whit as he was able to. He changed his music on Friday. He also had hit a home run finally, and he had not hit a ball harder than 95 miles per hour yet this season.
Yeah.
And that homer left his bat at 95.3. He's been struggling himself, but now we know a little bit more. It's not just baseball related, but it is personal. And so to be able to ditch I'm Your Boogeyman and pick up Mr. Brightside for his new song as his walk-up music, and then also maybe to work through the struggles of not seeing his baby girl has helped him out. But Nick, unfortunately, still struggling a bit. We saw Saturday, though. I was kind of like, yes, finally. He had his 1,400th career game, and we saw Saturday, finally. He got an extra base hit. He was the only qualified batter without an extra base hit. We saw him start off 2 for 2. We saw him get an RBI. We saw him with a big smile. We saw him get to celebrate, finally. But then Sunday was back to being slumping Nick.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Nick and Whit need their kids around to perform well at baseball.
I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe it's as simple as that. You know?
I was kind of thinking the same thing after reading about Whit dealing with not being able to see his baby girl, that maybe Nick is going through something similar as a dad, and Liam and you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I think he might need some Liam loving. But on the other side, as we've been talking about, the starting pitching continues looking great, which has been phenomenal to see the numbers that we saw this past weekend. Shout out to Zach Wheeler. Finally, Zach Wheeler gets some support. Ricardo Pinto, I just kind of was like, oh, dang, Dickie Beans.
You're a friend of the show, and we'll cherish our time together.
It was fun while it lasted.
But when Taijuan's coming up, Dickie Beans is going to be bidding us adieu. And not Freddie adieu.
It just was one of those things that when he kept giving up hits, or runs, more importantly.
It was ugly.
I was kind of like...
After the first game,
I kept thinking, like, it can't get any worse.
No,
it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. Oh, no, it keeps getting worse. And then when it was 9-5 and bases loaded, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
This
isn't supposed to be close. You were just supposed to get some work and give people a day off here, Dickie Beans.
Oh, no.
But Taijuan, I guess we got to touch on.
Let's do it.
He had his last rehab start yesterday. Let me pull up the numbers. I think he hit as high as 93-ish. I'm surprised they're not taking a little bit more time because Turnbull, look, we know he's not built for the long haul, and he'll serve, I think, okay out of the pen. But Taijuan Walker is paid $17 million a year, and he's going to be up here. Had his last rehab start yesterday, performed pretty well, and he's going to be up here. Dickie Beans is going to be gone, and it appears Spencer Turnbull, although it's not official yet, is going to be going to a bullpen role. So Taijuan Walker yesterday versus the Yankees AAA affiliate for the Iron Pigs threw 97 pitches, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and only 1 K. His speed of his pitches, never mind. He did not hit 93.
No, it didn't go over 90.
His fastball sat 88 to 90. His sinker was also in the 88 to 90 range. His cutter was 82 to 86. Splitter was 83 to 89. Sweeper 79 to 81. And his curveball was sitting 68 to 73. I'm not like, I understand the financial reasons why he's going to be thrust into the rotation, and hopefully, you know, he comes up here and proves us wrong, but I don't see the need to rush Spencer Turnbull out to get that in.
Yeah.
But it is reality, you know? It's like, of course that guy's going to be thrust back into the rotation.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this on Friday. I'd love for Darth Pooh, Mickey, Dave Dorr, John Spiral out, Hypothetical Man, Randy, Mr. Go Sixers, or Miss, could be a Miss. Let us know what you would do, Keith, as well, because when you look at
the fact he's that low though, 88
I know
to
Keith
90,
is mentioning he's cooked. He's probably bringing him back, and he'll go right back to IL after one start. The thing is with Taijuan, as we know, is you're looking at that 4-year, $72 million contract, and he's not going to be someone you're going to bring in to not pitch. Like, he's going to be expected to at least get a shot. And I know Rob's been mentioning it. Taijuan's been expecting it, that, you know, he's working back faster than he originally was. The timeline was for. So I also wonder, like, maybe slow things down a bit. I understand Spencer Turnbull's been pitching well, but as you talked about with his numbers, when I saw those numbers come out from his 97 pitches on Sunday, I'm like, whoa, you don't look ready though. Like, you might mentally be ready.
That's what I thought.
You might mentally want to get back.
Give him a month to try and get his arm strength up
and I think
velocity back.
Like when we spoke on Friday, and you were reading about how Taijuan had to like take he drove for hours to get to the game and drove back, and he's doing the hustle of trying to like show he's ready. Okay, but then when he pitched on Sunday, he's clearly not ready. You know, you're going up against the Yankees AAA team, and you just had 1 strikeout. You gave up 6 hits. You know, you're able to go deep into 6 innings, yes, but your overall pitches are not looking great. The speed, I didn't physically watch the game. I can't say that I did. I'm sorry, guys. But the speeds of his curveball, sweeper, splitter, and as you mentioned, even his fastball and sinker, most importantly, not looking good. And so what is the point of returning him back so fast? His velocity is down. We've already known how much he struggled in first innings. The team is playing really well. Also, you don't need him. This is not a situation where you're maybe the White Sox, for example, and you're struggling and you're running through arms fast and you need somebody to come in and try to shake things up and help. The Phillies actually don't need any major changes right now. The team's fine as is. The starting pitching is phenomenal right now. And Taijuan Walker does not seem like he is ready. So although he might be getting nervous because Spencer Turnbull is pitching so well, we know Spencer hasn't pitched over 56 innings in a single season since 2019. So this is just a temporary thing. Allow Taijuan more time. I would give him another week or so. He is expected to play this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, so as of right now, Spencer Turnbull is the probable starter for Wednesday in Cincinnati. This is a 4-game series with the Reds. So you have Ranger tonight, Sanchez tomorrow, and then Spencer Turnbull looks like gets the nod on Wednesday in, I guess, what is his last start before heading to the bullpen role. And then Zach Wheeler gets the afternoon game on Thursday. And by the way, post-game shows this week for those in here are going to be Thursday and Friday, late night. So late coffees from our home studios on Friday night. But Thursday we'll be here after the day game. So, look, if Spencer Turnbull goes out again on Wednesday and throws another gem, I don't think it's going to happen. But, Taijuan, take another 10 days down there. Yeah. Let's get some HGH in that shoulder, see if we can get that velocity back up. Because if he doesn't have his velocity, it's risky. It's risky.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. It's very concerning. It's not good at all. There was the expectation that as he was working through his rehab starts, his velocity was going to pick up. He was going to get more outs. He was going to just be able to show better, getting around that 93, 94 mile per hour zone, getting outs, but he's not doing that. So I know in the chat, just to read on what some of you guys are sharing, Hypothetical Man, you're saying he's not really a strikeout type of guy, though. He's more of an innings eater. Yes, he's not one that maybe gets as many Ks, but the innings, I still don't think are that great for what we've seen
it was
in terms of production.
last year.
No, I mean for his rehab start so far.
Yeah.
Last year, the 175 is phenomenal. I know Darthpur, you're saying Walker is getting $18 million to throw in AAA. He won't stay any longer than needed. I think financially it might be the reason why he gets rushed back a little bit more. And then Kim, you're asking what's wrong with him starting back as a long man in the pen. And I think it's for the same reason. And then you guys are John Limmerman and Go Sixers talking about, the cream will rise, whoever's better between the two. Some great points you guys are making. And Ray, you're not late. You're right on time, buddy, because we're talking through one of the most pressing topics right now of what to do. I think it has to be, at the very least, it's definitely a 6-man rotation. I would not move Spencer Turnbull to the pen, knowing that Taijuan Walker may not be ready and risking in that sense that he may not be ready. But then also on the other side, it might take some pressure off if you have a 6-man rotation for everybody. Doesn't hurt to give, the starting core an extra day, but also allowing Spencer to continue to be a starting pitcher while Taijuan is working back to see if you need to move him in the pen or, what other adjustments you need to make. So it's going to be interesting.
It all probably boils down to whether or not Aaron Nola and Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez are comfortable getting that extra day's rest. I'm sure I could look up their pitching numbers on 6 days rest. It's probably a very small sample size, but they may or may not like it. And if they don't like it, like Zach Wheeler doesn't like it, then that pretty much answers that question. Spencer Turnbull will probably be handcuffed to Taijuan Walker because I'm curious how short of a leash Rob's going to have with him now. Because we went through the numbers before. Last year in the first inning, he was one of the worst in baseball, and then he would kind of settle in. I wonder how long of a leash he has in those first 3 or 4 innings when you do have a guy like Turnbull potentially sitting behind him to be in that middle relief role. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how Rob manages this, and I guess we won't get our answer until after Turnbull's start on Wednesday. I would imagine Dickie Beans goes down today or tomorrow, and Taijuan gets activated up. But yeah, I would imagine after Wednesday's game, Rob will probably come out and say, Spencer did a great job for us. He's going to be moving to the bullpen now, and that's most likely outcome.
Yeah, it's a shame because you have a Spencer Turnbull who we saw have a near no-hitter. We've seen him pitch really well in his start to the season. 2-0 with a 1.23 ERA in his 4 starts. But unfortunately, the other side of that, somebody that has dealt with, the inability to pitch more than 56 and 2/3 innings in a season. Where on the other side, you have a Taijuan Walker who can give you the innings, not going to give you Ks, but is also coming off of the IL and his velocity is down, and he gives you disastrous first innings. So I do think they have to be connected and tethered to each other because neither of them are. Yeah. You can't rely on either of them solely. Yeah. But if you can kind of piecemeal it together, it could potentially work. Because especially for the short term.
When you're looking at Turnbull, it's like say Christopher Sanchez or somebody blows up. You go, all right, do we want to burn Turnbull today?
Right.
When we probably know in the back of our minds we might need him on Taijuan Day. So that's when I say how Rob manages this. It'll be interesting. But yeah, they might be tied at the hip together.
And as Darth Pooh said, what a terrible position we're in with our pitchers. Oh my gosh, such terrible times we're at right now. The bullpen is sitting back eating peanuts and snacking. They're not even having to do anything. The starting pitching core is do I want 5 or 6-man rotation? Great problems to have. And even better problems to have is right now we're seeing some good prospects down on the farm that have been performing really well.
Yeah, we might have to do a full down on the farm check-in.
We need to do a whole down on the farm check-in. 2 names that I want to definitely highlight. I know you had one as well.
Our boy Aiden.
Scott Kingery, but I've got to start with Aiden. Because Aiden Miller, who we had a chance to chat with,
he might be up at Jersey by
training.
June.
He right now is showing how well he can hit. Listen, Aiden Miller is one that kind of flew under the radar because he was coming into the draft back in 2023 off of an injury and may have been a sleeper. And he is still only 19, still very young. But so far, he came into Saturday's game for them, batting at .318. He was 14 for 44 with 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a .912 OPS in 10 games. He's off to a really good start. I know the Phillies hitting development director Luke Merton was speaking highly about him and about how he's, a good player who's very talented and how he's, given some really good at-bats in his first 50 at-bats. And for Miller, it's his first professional season. And he's been looking really good so far. He's got some power on him, and he's also a flexible player. As we talked to him, he was mentioning he has the ability to play third base, shortstop. He can kind of move around, especially even in the infield. So he's off to a tear, and so is Scott Kingery, who's performing really well. He also entered Saturday batting .271 with 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a .952 OPS. He's also developing pretty well and off to a good start. Yeah,
Scott Kingery. It does make you wonder if you're going to see him at any point this year.
Can he just go away?
No.
Can he be somebody else's problem?
Guy clearly loves baseball. I mean, he's a great AAA player to have.
Yeah, he's a quad A player. I mean, there's a plethora of quad A players across AA and AAA that are not major league players, and I think we've kind of come to understand what he is. He's a quad A player.
Yeah, but if you're concerned with hardware in Lehigh Valley, Tyler, he's worth keeping around.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't even think he was going to be back here.
International League champs.
He thought he was going to be a free agent,
and here he is.
And he had so little service time with the Phillies that he didn't qualify for it. So he's still the Phillies' possession. But yeah, Scott Kingery's on fire, and of course he's probably. I mean, who knows? Baseball's weird. I think they had at last season 56 different roster members up at some point, or maybe it was 46. It's a lot more than you realize. So who knows? Maybe you see Scott Kingery for a couple games this year at some point.
Yeah,
but Aiden Miller's he's a player. I read a quote this morning. It might have been in Zalecki's article. That said, he's going to be a much bigger name around baseball at the end of this year.
Yeah.
He's already a pretty good name, but people think he's already exceeding kind of their offensive expectations with the start to his year. Aiden Miller is going to be one of those fast risers in the prospect ranks, and he might be up in Jersey in June, and if so, we'll have to go catch up with him and Justin again. But yeah, Aiden Miller. Really, really promising kid for the Phillies.
Ranked as high as number 3 in MLB pipeline. And right now they talked about, for Merton, he was mentioning that Miller is just working on his consistency and that he definitely has a bright future. And as you mentioned, our number 4 prospect on some spots, depending on where you're looking, could be higher, could be lower. Justin Crawford, also off to a good start, batting .297 with 1 double, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, and a .908 OPS in his first 45 plate appearances. He's another one to keep an eye on. So, yeah, we're going to definitely do a little road trip to be able to see these guys in person because there's some young, promising talent in the Phillies pipeline.
Yeah, some of the pitchers have done really well. I know Sam Aldegari had a couple nice games. Mika Otenbright had a couple nice games. So, the farm system
Gabriel Rincon.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well to start the year. So we'll definitely start, initiating a weekly down on the farm check-in where we just kind of throw a lasso around the best performers of the week. And
we'll definitely.
Yeah, I heard the Clearwater Thresher manager, the radio guy on TV or on radio last Friday driving in, and he had a really good breakdown of everybody. So maybe we'll reach out to those guys and start talking to some of them. But yes, the farm system is not a complete failure like it has been.
I know,
so many times over the Phillies' history. So exciting times.
The little things. The Phillies are 6 games over 500. The starting pitching core is doing phenomenal, knock on wood.
All right, ready?
They had 43,000 in attendance for the Phanatics' birthday yesterday, including Jamie and his family.
And the Phanatic threw at Mrs. Phanatic again.
Yeah, what?
It's the first time since 2011 he's thrown at his mom. He got kicked out of his own exhibition game for his birthday.
It's not getting booted from your own birthday party.
But ready, I forget what, this might have been from the post-game release. Since 1901, the Phillies have won 13 or more of their first 21 games, only 18 times. Did we read this? Was this one of the ones you read?
Yeah, but it was funny because it was a little different because I didn't include yesterday's game, so I said...
Oh, God.
One of these days, you're going to pay attention the whole show. Yep.
I missed that one. I was paying attention. I reference stuff you say all the time. I do listen to you.
Jamie's going to unlock that extra percent of his brain one day, and the world will never stop.
I'm past my prime. It's already over.
So the stat I read was they've won at least 12 of their first 20 games only 19 times since 1901. So you literally said the same thing, but you just
I listened for like the trigger number, and it was 18. So
because 18 other teams. Okay. You know what my favorite part is though? When you kind of like clear the room and get like you're like
ready for this one, guys?
I've got this great stat. Are you ready for this? And then it's something that we've already done. But no, it is remarkable in all seriousness when you look at the great start. And here's another one for you guys.
And do you have the American League numbers? Did you already read those? Did I miss those?
No, I didn't actually read those. Since ERA became an official stat in both leagues back in 1913, only one Major League Baseball team has had its starters combined for 40-plus strikeouts with an ERA of 25.25 or lower over a 5-game span. That one team, the Phillies, during their current the first 5 games of their past 6
winning. How many strikeouts? 40 or more?
40 or more strikeouts with an ERA of 0.25 or lower in a 5-game span. It was none other than the Phillies, the only team to have done that since 1913.
Yeah, when I hear all these like amazing pitching stats going on, like the Whites, like Livan Hernandez has a better OPS than the White Sox. For his career, like you hear all these numbers and like that one too, and you just go, all right, I don't want to like discredit what the Phillies are doing, but holy shit, these teams are really, really bad.
I know,
really bad.
But the other thing is, like we talked about,
so I don't want to discredit.
Although the White Sox and Rockies are garbage, the Phillies are at least pummeling them.
Yes.
Like if they had, because actually, I'm sorry, they didn't pummel the Rockies. 2-1, it was close. But also that makes sense to me. They were coming off of splitting the series with the Pirates. The Phillies were still in that like weird, awkward struggle bus. And they got off the struggle bus game 1 against the White Sox. And we've seen them score more than 5 runs in every game, which is one of those things that we had talked about has been an area that's a hurdle for them. They could not get over 5 runs, and they did that in all 3 games of the series. They had them shut out in the first 2 games. They actually outscored them the last 5 games, the Phillies outscored their opponents 33-3 in the first 7 innings. The drop-off has been 8 and 9.
Well, Dickie Beans.
Yeah. And I'm not, and so that's the thing. Like when you look at what's been the issue, he gives up 5. Ricardo Pinto gives up 5 runs. Aaron Nola has a weird inning. Those are all things that are not going to, like, definitely Pinto. He's not going to even be on the team.
He's not going to hurt us
So
anymore.
that's not a problem that I'm even worried about. That they were quote unquote coming back and it was 9-5. So the Phillies also put them away early. They scored in the first inning. They went on. They continued to score. The vibes were high. Like it wasn't like an ugly game that they just happened to get lucky and win.
Yeah, and it was good for Aaron Nola to just see them tie it up like immediately yesterday.
Yes.
Not that he was going to like spiral out of control, but he didn't have his best stuff. I thought he was getting squeezed a little bit on the outside part of the plate, but like to see him get tied up right away and even take the lead pretty quickly. That was just good for him. All right, now.
I was going to say, what's your AL number? Because you got more for us.
Yes. I pray you didn't say this one, and I blacked out and didn't hear it. But the Phillies are absolutely dominant against the American League. And I feel like they've played them well, but these numbers kind of like surprise me a little bit. The Phillies have now won 23 of their last 31 games versus the American League.
Wow.
They have a 742 win percentage dating back to last May 7th. They've outscored the AL 167-106 in those 31 games for a plus 61 run differential. Last season, the Phillies had a franchise record 12-game winning streak against the NL, which is tied for the second longest interleague winning streak in MLB history. 13 is the longest. Wow. So, ergo, when the Phillies do get to the World Series, and hopefully it's not the Houston Nationals this time, they'll be okay. So they just seem to dominate the AL, which is really cool.
I like it. I know I saw Spiral out talking about the NL Beast. That is
the Braves need to stop
the Braves
winning.
And the Mets also keep winning. The Mets are 8-2 in their last 10 games. The Braves are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Even
I'm
without
more worried
Spencer
about
Strider,
the Braves there.
Even without Spencer Strider, the Braves are we're getting their offense has been still
and the Mets are getting
really
JD
good.
Martinez this week.
Yeah.
I think like Thursday or Friday he's going to be back up. But yes, the Phillies go 8-2 in their last 10, and so did the Braves. Really freaking annoying.
So annoying. Go away. Go away. We just want to be excited
and
about the Phillies.
And their offensive numbers are on pace for last year.
Well,
How are they
what's
cheating?
been helping them. That's what's been helping them.
Somebody break the Braves cheating
Hate
case.
to tell you guys, but I think the 100-win team from last year is not going away.
Well, the thing that they're showing is, although they're without Spencer Strider, they're just going to continue to smash balls out of the ballpark, and you're not going to be able to beat them because they're just going to outscore you. And I will say it's great for my fantasy team because my fantasy team won again.
Congratulations on all your success. My team lost again.
Tyler, how'd you do?
Don't talk about it.
Oh,
Don't worry about
guys. Really? Just
it's not going well. I need another closer.
Oh, man. Well, let's close this bad boy up and wrap up here. We do have...
What's Mickey Durkin talking about? He says Embiid is that shoot around in sunglasses.
Oh, no.
They can't hurt me anymore. Tyler's right.
I told you. I don't have any feelings for them anymore.
No, I definitely do not allow the Sixers to even... I just expect the worst from them. And if they surprise me and do better, then great. But I have
kind of
zero
where I'm at. I expect the worst.
expectations from them.
Yes.
Zero. This is not...
Yep, I'm seeing the video in our Discord.
He's a migraine?
He is at shoot-around wearing sunglasses. Now, Kyle, and make sure you guys check out Devon, Derek, Kyle. I know Devon had Roy Burton in over the weekend, too, and Mikhail's father doing some post-game. Make sure you check them out, because Kyle did have... And, part of the Sixers thing is, not making them available to the media just makes us all think the worst. But Kyle said he came out of the shower in the locker room wearing sunglasses, seemed like he was in a good mood, had the towel around, was joking with teammates, didn't seem like a guy that was going to miss it. But now he shows up to shoot around wearing sunglasses, and Tyrese Maxey apparently has hashtag NBA poops, and I'm dead inside. So, yeah.
Dave's saying he got poked in the eye, but
Okay.
You know what it is? It's just always something.
They're
it's just
addicted
always
to
something.
drama.
And that's why you can't, that's what it is. It's a Jimmy Butler goes down, no problem. I'm going to also add my own injury story. We have to be the team that's got all the worst drama and injuries going on.
The worst part is he's probably the most talented athlete I've ever seen in my life.
That's what makes it really tough.
And it's just I never feel like he can stay healthy. And it's heartbreaking.
It is, especially because the team is so dependent on him.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't stay healthy. But, oh, good Lord.
All right, did the Sixers win tonight? What do you think?
No.
Tyler?
They go down 2-0.
Sixers win tonight?
They win game 3.
Sure. Don't care, quite honestly. No, I'm kidding. I do care. I don't think they're going to win tonight, no.
In the Garden with sunglasses on and stuff. And
I can't even trust. I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore.
I don't even know.
Because I think the Sixers win, but I don't even want to say that. I kind of just want to go. Bleh.
If they wouldn't be one of those,
is that your official prediction?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
In spite of all the drama, that they just go out and you get a great game from the supporting cast. But I think they go down 2-0. I think they win game 3, and everything's all rah-rah. They're gonna come back, and then they're gonna this is what Sixers do best. They get your hopes up. So we have no hopes today. They're gonna go lose. They'll win game 3. People will get excited, and then they're gonna get blown out game 4.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then at that point, it's over. They're not. So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are in the chat talking about sunglasses. He needs. Okay, so
sunglasses makes me think of my favorite Larry David quote, which is 2 types of people wear sunglasses indoors: blind people and assholes, and then people with eye injuries. But that's not part of the joke.
My thing with this team at this point is would it stun me if they win tonight? No, not really.
Not at all.
Would it stun me if they lose by 20? Also,
not
really.
At all.
What's going to happen, and they might win tonight, but what I can guarantee that I feel will happen is whatever night they do win, the next game they're going to get blown out by 20. Because that's also what they like to do too. You get excited, they're back, they're in this, and then they get blown out and they don't show up.
Well, make sure you check out the Sixers show tonight because
our guys will be covered it all. Exactly.
Tyler and I are just on
you guys
life
are
support.
so numb. You're just losing left and right between your fantasy teams and the struggles of the Sixers.
Right. That was not necessary.
All right, well, hopefully the winning ways continue for the Phillies as they get ready for their series going up against the Reds. We've got the game. Your guy, Jamie, are you excited?
Ranger.
Ranger.
I just expect the best tonight. And the Phillies are favored for a reason in Great American Ballpark.
So the matchup.
This is like the perfect storm for me tonight. Ranger and Great American Ballpark. So right.
This is everything that you love. So Ranger Suarez gets the night started today. He's got a 3-0 record and a 1.73 ERA going up against Hunter Green. Such a generic name, Hunter Green.
He's been having a pretty good start to the year.
He's 0-1 with a 4.35 ERA. And then tomorrow, as we'll talk through, we've got, as you mentioned, Sanchez, then Turnbull, and Wheeler to close out the series of this 4-game stretch, Phillies versus Reds. So another chance to see what the Phillies are all about. I'm excited. I'm actually really excited for this series.
I hate 4-game series.
I know
somebody has to win and somebody has to lose.
I know.
So either win 3 or lose 3.
I know.
None of this coward shit splitting series. I hate it. Oh, we had a 4-game series and nobody won it. It's cool. I think it's so dumb.
It's so dumb. It's just bizarre.
I mean, I get it because of the way scheduling is difficult, but like, come on.
Like you play 4 games to just split.
It's
kind of like it's like a participation trophy. Like, oh, thanks for playing. No,
I need a winner and a loser. Damn it.
I feel like a 4-0 would be beautiful. Yeah. But a nice 3-1 would be great. So what I'm excited about most is to see now after the last 10 home games, especially the way that each series the Phillies bats woke up a little bit more. Their at-bats looked so much better. The pitching continues to be steady. Where this is a series we should see them really get tested. You know, it's the first step of their stretch of away games. They've got, I guess it is like 10 road games in a row.
Yeah, Padres after this.
Right. It's really good series that you're playing against teams that should test you a bit more. Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, the starting pitchers for the Reds the next 4 games, that the Phillies should be able to show if this last 10 games, especially the last 6, was a fluke or not, or if this is really the identity of the Phillies right now in April. So we'll see. Game time gets started tonight. We've got a nice 6:40 start time. We'll be back tomorrow live 11 a.m. to recap all the action tonight. And
nice part is you get the Phillies for almost an hour before the Sixers start.
I know.
So the Phillies will be on the big screen for almost an hour.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that it's staggered. That always helps it makes it a lot easier, for sure.
And Ranger's gonna go quick. He's gonna be so cute. He's gonna deal. We'll be out of there in 2 hours.
What's your prediction on the
Ranger goes 6 2/3 tonight with 1 earned run and 7 Ks.
Super specific.
Yeah.
What's your final score then?
I'll go Phillies win 4-2.
Ooh, a lower scoring game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bet the over because they're gonna go light up Hunter Green now.
I think it's really important that they win today. I think it sets the tone for the series, but it also shows like you don't want to have after 2 back-to-back sweeps, you come in today and you get pummeled. So I think you got to set the tone early. I would love to see Ranger go out and deal and be adorable as you always talk about. But I could see this being a lower. I could see like I will raise your 4-2 like a 5-4.
All right.
I think it's gonna be a close game. Tyler, do you have a prediction, or are you just back there frustrated with life?
Frustrated with life? Sucks. Wow, that seems just wow. Everything's pain, I guess, apparently on this Monday. So you know what's weird is I'm just kind of going through Hunter Green's numbers real quick, and we know how hard Hunter Green throws. Why is his fastball hit at such a ridiculous rate? Like this year, it's been much better. It's like a 109 expected batting average, but like the last 2 years, a -5 run value and a -12 run value on his 4-seam fastball. Like there's value to throwing hard, but there's also value to not having a flat fastball. And I'm just trying to figure out why his fastball gets hit around so hard. And I'm not gonna lie to you and pretend like I've been locked in.
You haven't watched every Hunter Green start this year?
No. But like the velo's up, the expected batting average is way like it's in the 92nd percentile for him in total. But I don't understand Hunter Green. The stuff is clearly there, and the numbers don't back it up. So one of 2 things happen: they light him up, or he shuts them down. I don't think there's a middle ground tonight. So. If I'm picking a game for them to lose, it's either this or the Lodolo start. So I'm not going to give you a score prediction because baseball's too volatile. But that's my prediction is one of 2 things happen. Either they score very little or they score a ton.
Okay, I could see that. Well, it's not a 3-18 -71 run differential White Sox team. It is a much better Cincinnati team that should be able to test the Phillies. I know in the chat I saw 7-1 as a prediction that Dave P, you're saying Phillies win 7-1. Should be interesting today. Should definitely be interesting. So I know we've got some great dinner on tap. I saw rotisserie chicken. I saw mention of lasagna. Is it minestra? Is that how you say that? Minestra? I don't even know how to say that food. I don't even know what that is. That Mickey's having. It's higher up in the chat. He said his wife's making minestra? What's that?
I don't
know. Either way, enjoy your dinner tonight.
Sounds sexy.
Maybe it's a typo it's a healthy Italian greens and beans dish.
Some
looks
Tuscan
very
white
nutritious.
beans.
Looks yummy. All right.
Mickey's going to be farting up a storm tomorrow.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Minestrone.
Yeah, I thought it was minestrone, but no, minestra is a thing. I Googled it.
I'm not Italian enough to know that. I'll go ask Anthony about it.
An Italian soupy / yellow pizza. There you go. Well, as Jamie mentioned, we'll be back live with post-game shows Thursday and Friday. The rest of the week, we'll have our usual 11 a.m. start, and we'll have more games. We'll have more, we'll have John joining us.
Jim Salisbury probably tomorrow.
Jim's going to be joining us. So more to come this week. And let's hope that we continue the rolling of the winning ways for the Phillies. Tonight, 6:40 start with Ranger Suarez on the mound. For Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee Washington, let's have a great winning Monday. We'll see you back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. for more to recap all the action here on PHLY Phillies Podcast. See you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.